No one else is responsible for your bad decisions. Now, I know that in the last decade or so, it has almost become trendy for an individual to place their own grievances onto anybody, if not anything else, right? At first, it was, my mother, my father, my parents. They're the reason why I'm the way that I am. Then it became, it's my spouse, my partner. They're the reason why I am the way that I am. I have been through traumas. Look at my life. Look what happened to me. But now it's become this externalized, ethereal, unseen force that is the system, right? Systems of inequity, systems of injustice, systems of oppression. It's become culturally accepted and even praised. It's been promoted to a level of normalization to not take personal accountability for one's own personal decisions. And it's a heartbreaking thing to see, because I've come to the realization that this is the most detrimental belief that one can hold. And I'm not trying to be dramatic with that and push it to its furthest extent. I'm probably not even giving it enough emphasis, right? When you have or hold a belief system that you are not able to take personal accountability or responsibility over your life, it strips your own personal power. When you don't hold the belief that you have personal agency, it creates for real life symptoms such as depression. It creates diseases. I mean, autoimmune chronic responses can be triggered by holding such belief systems. It weakens the immune system. When you continue to perpetuate these ideas that the world is against me, I can do nothing for myself, I am out of control, and there's nothing I can do about my life. The individual who genuinely holds those beliefs is essentially cooked from the very beginning. Now, the beautiful thing is we can change these belief systems. However, when we're in this place where, again, it's normalized, and it's really unfortunate because, especially here in the Western world, where we are afforded so many opportunities, so many privileges, it almost becomes impossible to see just how blessed we are, to see just how much we actually do have, right? And I'm not saying that, I wish everybody to be born in a third world country, but I know my own personal experience being born and raised in, what would be considered as a third world country, moving to the United States at 10, there's still enough of a reflective aspect within me that remembers what it was like, and is also still attached to such a place. So there's an understanding of the level of privilege it is to just be here in the first place. And it can be so difficult for somebody who is just in the privilege. It's kind of like, most of these far left woke ideologues, especially the white liberals, they more often than not come from suburban areas. They might even come from well-to-do, affluent households. And yet they hold so much guilt about their own, backgrounds, that they try to associate themselves with something that would make them, shed themselves of that perceived guilt. And so you have these individuals who, let's say, were born in the lap of luxury, and yet they are the most grieved, or they are the ones who are pressing the most as far as activism and these sorts of things, right? Real life example is, if you go into like defund the police, most of the activists within that movement don't live in the neighborhoods that are the most, that are needed the most policing, and are the least likely individuals to be affected by the entire idea, right? So they don't live in the urban areas. They live in a suburban area where things are peachy, but yet they're fighting for police to be removed from the very places that are going to suffer. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's no logical basis off of these sorts of ideas. To say that I'm fighting for the people who I believe to be disenfranchised, marginalized, I'm fighting for black folk, I'm fighting for Hispanics, whatever it may be, I'm fighting for the disenfranchised. So what I will do is make sure that they have less policing within their environment, which actually is going to create more of a disenfranchisement. More specifically for those who are not in the criminal element. All it does is then give leeway or greater leeway to the criminals. And this has been something that's been happening in the Bay Area. I was raised in the Bay, spent about 17 to 18 years in the Bay. And so I got to see San Francisco, Oakland, etc. go from, well, more specifically San Francisco. Oakland was kind of a place with a reputation. There started to be a little bit of gentrification. Then all of a sudden, due to these laws, it's become a crime hub again. But I got to see San Francisco degenerate into this this woke dystopia because of these sorts of ideas that made everybody a victim, that did not give personal accountability to the individuals. Oh, poor black people. They're so disenfranchised. That's why they're going through that's why they're experiencing so much crime, etc. No, it's because of the cultural elements that many of us were not willing to call out because we're so afraid of being called a traitor, a sellout, a coon, or whatever it may be. These are cultural aspects, and most of the people who are not involved in the criminality, they don't want that element. Most people, when they get money, who live in those types of areas, they move the hell out. They don't want to be surrounded by that element. But again, we've become so used to normalizing, people's bad behavior. You end up with a few baby daddies, and it's not your fault. Whose fault is it? Oh man, my baby mama's tripping. Who impregnated her? If she is your baby's mother, then who's the one who put the baby in the mother? It's a basic mathematic, and yet we love to project all of our own accountability onto everybody else. We love to rid ourselves of believing that we are removing the shame, but in truth, we're removing our very own power source. The only power you have in life, which is the absolute power, is the power over your own personal decisions. Simple as that. There's nothing else you need in life besides to know that you are in control of your decisions. If I decide to eat that thing that is no good for me versus that thing which is going to give me the necessary vitamins, nutrients, minerals, etc., then I'm going to either reap the benefits of eating the healthier food, or I'm going to suffer the consequences of eating the unhealthy food. Now, I could blame the system all day long till I'm blue in the damn face, but nobody forced me. They might have coerced me. They might have convinced me. They might have marketed to me. I might be susceptible to their conditioning, but I am still the one making the decision. And is it going to be an easy decision? More times than not, absolutely no. That's why discipline is a necessary aspect to build healthier habits, to build healthier mental formations, belief systems, to rewire our brains. But we have to choose that. Many people will blame their bosses, they blame their work, they blame their career, they blame their industry as far as why they're not making the money they want to make. But when it's all said and done, you're putting your own life in somebody else's hands. I know we don't like to hear this. It's so much easier just to blame it on everybody else and to spew out all the reasons, which I'm sure I'll get in the comment section, but you don't understand my situation. You don't understand mine. You don't understand mine. You don't understand, right? I get it. But the reality is going to stand. The truth doesn't need backup. It doesn't need reinforcement. It just needs to be spoken, and it's going to stand regardless. Even if it's not spoken, it's still going to be what it is. If you put your life in the hands of a quote unquote employer and you expect that person to care more about your career, more about your finances, etc., into somebody else's hands, that is a foolish decision. If you do not take best care of these elements of your life, that is a terrible decision. Because when it's all said and done, you are negating that power. I'm not saying that you don't entrust, counsel, wise counsel. But when it's all said and done, you have to take the accountability. You have to make the decision yourself. And many people will pay somebody else to make a decision for them. They will negate. That's why we give so much power to a government. Well, you just take care of that for me. You do that thing for me. And then they end up screwing you over. They end up taking that money and, this is tax money. It's not our money. So, screw it. Spend $800 on a damn hammer, right? You go through some of these, past legislative government budgets and you think to yourself, how the hell did you spend $1 million on, giving cocaine to rats? Like the craziest thing. Shout out to Doge, by the way. Shout out to Elon and Vivek for exposing some of the ridiculous spending that's been taking place. But again, when you give that level of authority, and I know, again, this is an example I'm using as far as the government aspect. Yes, the government is responsible for certain things, but if you're going to entrust that my future is going to be secure because of this entity or the other, as opposed to taking personal accountability, nobody's ever going to care about your money more than you. Not the best accountant with the greatest heart. That person is going to deeply care about you getting what you need to get financially, but they cannot care more than you. Nobody's going to care about your health more than you do. A doctor may be committed to their clients. They may want to do all the things necessary to make sure you're in best health, but they can't. They physically cannot. They can't move for you. They can't think for you. They can't act for you. And so we have to get back to a place where we honor the godhood within ourselves. That's a God-given gift, free will, the ability to make decisions. Oh, is it difficult? Sometimes it can be. But when we get over this thing of needing to be perfect or, the right decision every single time, and instead taking these as lessons, sometimes I'll make a decision that is not the best decision. And I might take an L, but I turn that L into a lesson. That's a bar. I take that L and I turn it into a lesson. And I move forward and I do something different. If I do the same thing again, then I get the same result. That's on me. That's what it is to be a leader. I hear these dudes talking about, oh, she got to submit to me. I'm a man. No, look, if you're not willing to take accountability over what happens in your household, you ain't no damn man. You ain't no damn leader. You're playing cosplay. Like you are cosplaying a man. And you want to force others into something that would naturally happen if you were to step into your authority. And your authority is over self, your own decisions, how you lead yourself, what decisions you make. Today is Christmas Day, December 25th, 2024, right? It's Christmas Day. I could be outside right now lounging, but I say, no, I got a mission. I got a purpose in this life. This is what I do. And so even on Christmas, I'm going to film a video. Now I'm going to be out there with the family. We're going to open gifts. We're going to do the whole nine. But right now, I'm going to give myself to this right here. And I can't blame somebody if it never happened. So how am I going to blame somebody for the money I didn't make for the thing I didn't do, right? Let's say I don't film this one. I say, you know what? Let me just take the holidays off. Let me just, I ain't going to film all this work or whatever it is. And I lag off. The numbers fall off, monetization goes down. I can't blame anybody besides myself. I cannot blame anybody besides myself. It is my responsibility to do what I'm here to do. Simple as that. And so when we start to take that upon ourselves, we see our lives change. People ask me all the time, okay, what's the solution? There's only one solution to everything in life: taking personal accountability, making the decision and executing upon that decision. You don't have to turn the entire boat around in one day. You may if it took you 10 years to get into that hole, it might take you, a year, a few years to turn it around. But by golly, you're going to turn it around. Make different decisions so you can head in the proper direction, as opposed to constantly, being in this fight or flight response that so many people are living in, or in this zombified state where you're living in autopilot and you're just pointing to everything besides yourself. Your life ends up where you don't want it to be. And even if it feels good in the moment to blame somebody else, you still don't have what you want. That's the part. I'll be damned. Like for me, I'm like, I at least got to get some for this. If I'm finna go through it, like I at least have to get something for this. There's got to be a payout for me if I'm about to go through it. That's why I'm going to take every L and turn it into a lesson, because I want everything to add up. And we have the power to do that, to transmute all energy. If it's fear, if it's been quote unquote failure, then we can transmute that into our success. Okay, I messed up here. I messed up here. I messed up here in my life. You might have messed up every area of your life. That's okay. But we're going to do something different. But the longer I sit back here and I look for somebody to blame, I look for somebody to put it on. Oh, it's that one, it's that one, it's that. If he hadn't, if only, absolutely not. I'm not going nowhere. I will remain in the very same position for the rest of my life, and probably even worse off. The law of atrophy, probably even worse off. If I don't go to the gym, if I don't make sure I'm eating the proteins and the fats and, taking care of my body, cutting them carbs, cutting them sugars, if I don't do that and I just go with whatever the TV tells me, whatever social media is telling me, whatever people around me are just doing and just going along to get along in some zombified state, I'm going to get a worse and worse result. I'm making these little gradual steps, and either they're going to lead to absolute success or my absolute failure. Because the only failure is once you're actually at the end of that road and you look at your life and you say, damn, I didn't do nothing with it. Let go of the need to blame, and I promise you will free yourself. You will free. That is my intention throughout this entire year, because as you guys will be seeing this, it will be January 1st, 2025. And I've already set my mind as far as where I'm looking to take myself, where I'm looking to take my family, where I'm looking to take my community, what I'm looking to do as far as making a difference in this world, I'm already projecting outward. But the basis of it is to say whatever it is that happens in my life is my responsibility. If I'm bringing it into life, then it's my responsibility. If I say that I'm going to be dictating what happens in my household, that's my responsibility. Simple as that. Simple as that. I bring babies into this life, my responsibility. Oh, but you know, the system, there ain't no damn system big enough to stop you and the God that lives within you. Not a damn system.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light.